Welcome everyone to Yin Yoga. My name is Tammy and I'll be guiding you through the next hour. Our focus is on stress management. Stress management has 4 parts that we can look at. The first one is physical. The next one is social. Third one, intellectual. And the fourth one is spiritual. Physical, we think of our body, so exercise, sleep, nutrition, what we're taking in, what we're outputting. The social aspect is spending time with those that we care or alone time. Intellectual is doing something that would be for our mind, so we can be taking a course, maybe it's a language course. And spiritual, finding calm, being mindful, feeling grounded, making a connection to nature. Thinking of one of these parts of stress management that maybe would be for yourself that you could focus on for the week. So it could be the physical aspect, which I am doing this week. I'm going to be getting more sleep. I'm going to be going to bed really early and getting as much sleep as possible to help me to get back to feeling more so myself. So that's going to be a big aspect for me this week. Could be the social one for yourself, could be intellectual, or the spiritual. So beginning our class, just letting yourself sink into the first pose, which will be legs up the wall. So letting yourself feel that grounding. Turning over to your side, and then coming onto your back. Legs up the wall. Bending through the knees, and then taking your legs up. You may place your legs actually at a wall, so then they would be supported. So I have a nice bar here, so I can turn and then bring my legs up and then be supported that way. So find what's going to work for you. Close your eyes and then start to turn inward. Inhale breath. And exhale breath, letting yourself sink. Drawing the blood back to your heart. Turning inward. Instead of looking at yourself from outside in, coming into yourself. Turning your attention to your breath. Feel the inhale breath opening up through your chest, through your belly, feeling the rise and fall. Inhaling and exhaling. We'll be here for 2 more minutes. One more minute. Continue to let your back soften. Continue to focus on your breath. Your inhale breath could be 4 seconds. Your exhale breath, 6 seconds. Exhale breath being longer to help you just start to really release. Let yourself sink, let yourself melt. Notice if your breath is even. For the last 15 seconds, bending both of the knees, taking the knees in towards the chest. A little squeeze for cradle. And taking your right foot down, left foot down towards the ground. Take your legs down onto the ground. Straighten your legs, and then into Banana Asana, walking our legs over to the left corner of our mat. And then walking our upper body towards the left corner of the mat. Notice if your pelvis is really lifting up, then your banana shape is a little bit too big, so you can come out of it a little bit. Take your arms up overhead, hold on to the hands or hold onto the elbows. Letting your shoulders soften towards the ground. Into a bigger stretch into the side of our body. Press your right ankle over the left ankle. Close your eyes again. Come into yourself. Feel the stretch all along the side of your body. Breathing into areas of tension. Exhaling, letting them release. We have about 2.5 more minutes. Taking this time to let yourself soften, start to find calm, connecting back to yourself. You may hear some gurgling coming through your lower intestines. Starting to open up, starting to make things work through your body. Halfway through our pose, slowly coming out of banana asana and crossing your ankles, releasing your arms, taking your upper body back towards the center, lower body back towards the center. Walking the legs over to the other side, right corner of your mat, upper body walking it over to the right corner of your mat. Notice if your pelvis is really lifting up on the left side, adjusting. Arms above the head. Hold on to your hands or elbows. Cross your left ankle over the right ankle. Close your eyes. Feeling the stretch all along the left side of our body. Adjust anytime you need to, and then come back into stillness. Yin yoga is such a lovely way to find calm, come back into ourselves, finding that release, mindfulness, enjoying the moment. Halfway through, let yourself soften a little bit more, encouraging that deeper breathing. Being gentle with yourself, letting go. Slowly starting to release, coming out of the Namaste by crossing the ankles, releasing the arms. Take your upper body back towards the center. Nice and slow. Lower body back towards the center. Bending the right knee, bending the left knee. Take your legs in, knees in towards the chest for cradle. Just a little hug. And then take your right foot down, left foot down towards the ground. Roll over to the right side to fetal, and then coming up for caterpillar. Okay, for caterpillar, you may use bolster, a pillow, and place it on top of your legs. You don't need one though. Legs come straight out in front. Move the flesh apart from your bottom. You may inhale and then exhale, fold forward. Let yourself hang here. If you do use a pillow, you can lie down and let the cheek rest. Now my bolster might be a little bit too big, so I'm just going to move it a little bit forward and then let my cheek rest on my bolster. Thinking of the supports that you could use for your body. It may be your hands. Caterpillar is a nice pose to help us to start to feel grounded, just letting go with that fold forward. You may start to feel your lower back start to release. We're about halfway through this pose. So if your cheek is resting on a pillow, you may turn your head and then let your other cheek rest on your pillow. Notice if your hamstrings are starting to release. Breathing into all those tight areas. Exhale, helping to release, let go. Slowly making your way out of caterpillar. Nice and slow. Our forward fold. And moving up. So take my holster over here. Okay. And then coming into heart melting pose. Come to all fours. Wag your tail. Get a little bit of movement through our pelvis. Step forward with the right hand and then step forward with the left hand. Keeping your pelvis up towards the sky, so bottom up towards the sky, we lean forward, lean down towards the ground with our heart. So you may take your fingers longer, right to the edge of the mat. So you can slide your hands right to the edge and then draw your heart down towards the ground. Let the forehead rest. Keep holding heart melting pose, finding that stillness, grounding. What is the We are about halfway through. Continue to turn to your breath. Slowly making your way out of heart melting pose. Come to all fours. Wag your tail. And then to butterfly. Okay, butterfly. Support underneath the knees. I'm going to use one pillow on under each of my knees. Take the time to set yourself up. Place the bottoms of your feet together. Support under my knees. You can fold forward and let your head hang, or you can use blocks. Let the forehead rest on a block. You can place your block on top of your feet too. That's a nice way to do it. Or when you do the fold forward, the forehead rests into the palms of your hands. You'll slowly start to feel your back release the longer that we hold this pose. So setting yourself up, Add the fold forward. Your choice, though, if you do that, you may just remain and close your eyes, sitting in this comfortable position. Fold forward, and then let the forehead hang towards the ground. Turning inward and focus on your breath. You may count your breath out, inhaling for 4 counts, exhaling for 6 counts. As you start to feel your body start to release and sink a little bit deeper, and start to let yourself go here. Let yourself fold into butterfly a little bit more. We have 45 more seconds in butterfly. The last 15 seconds, slowly making your way out. Over the fold. Half butterfly. Our next pose, take your right leg long in front of you. You can bring your left foot in towards the groin, and still I'm going to use my cushion for support under my knee. I can use my pillow on top of my right leg and add the fold. If you'd like support ever for underneath the knee, you can roll up a little bit, a little blanket or a little towel and place it underneath the knee for support. So finding what's going to work for you. Moving forward, easy to breathe still. You may let your forehead hang towards the ground too. You don't need to rest it on the pillow. And then come into stillness. We are halfway through our class. So I'm hoping that your mind is not as busy right now. If it still is busy, that you're thinking of other things, turn it towards your breath. Count your breath out. Focus on the inhale and the exhale, the release. Slowly making your way out of half butterfly. And then up. And then into the other side. We'll switch your legs, left leg long. Right knee is supported. So take your right foot into the groin, or to the inner thigh, I should say. And then right knee is supported. You may have your pillow on top of the leg. You may have your towel or blanket underneath the knee for support. Forehead is hanging. So inhale breath, and then exhale breath, fold. Let yourself hang. Feel support from the props that you do use. Let your body be supported, and then let yourself go. And slowly now starting to make your way out of half butterfly. It's so nice. Just actually more than halfway through a class, and this is when you really start to feel your body start to settle. It is so powerful. Okay. Child's pose. I'll just move my props over to the side so you can clearly see me. And then coming into child's pose. So you may come into all fours. Uncurl the toes. Sit back into the heels. And then fold forward, letting the forehead hang towards the ground. Your forehead is able to rest on something now. It may be your hands. You can stack your fists and let the forehead rest. Your mat too. That's okay for your knees. If this is not okay for your knees, you may roll over to your back and then take your knees in towards the chest for cradle. If you would like a little bit more opening through the hips, you're turning your knees out to the sides of your mat, sitting back into the heels, and then let the forehead rest towards the ground. Starting to feel a lightness in your body as your body does melt towards the ground. Your mind starts to settle. You start to find that calm a little bit deeper now. What do you want? 45 more seconds in child's pose. Slowly making your way out of child's pose and then coming up. Seated on your bottom for square pose. Okay, square pose, I'm going to use my pillows again for support. You can use blocks too. I'm going to place one pillow underneath my left knee and then one pillow underneath my right knee. Square pose is when you're having, this is what we'll do first. We'll have our right leg crossed over top of the left leg, and you're going to line up your right ankle over top of the left knee, and then my right knee is going to be over top of my left ankle. And then my pillow is going to go underneath my right knee. Now, this might not be the most successful for everybody. Another way to do this would be left leg is straight. You can have that support underneath the knee again, and you're crossing your right ankle over top of the left knee. And then you can have the support underneath the right knee. Do it that way too. That works great. You may add a forward fold with this pose. I'd like you to notice, though, how your right hip is feeling. How is it? Is it quite tight? And as we let ourselves release into this pose, notice how your right hip starts to release. So with a nice inhale, breathing in, and then exhale, you may add the fold. Just a little bit forward, or you may be upright and then draw your chin down just gently towards the chest and close your eyes. And there's no right or wrong here. Just thinking of letting yourself go, letting yourself sink, not holding on. At this point, you may start to notice that your right hip is starting to release, starting to let go. Keep using your breath to help. We're going to hold this for 15 more seconds. So a couple cycles of breath here. And then slowly starting to come out of square pose, making our way to the other side. Okay, this time you'll have the left leg over top of the right leg. If you're crossing one leg, it would be the left ankle crossing over top of the right leg that's straight. Okay, cross your left leg over top of the right leg, both legs, knees bent. Support one pillow underneath of my left knee, then you can have a pillow underneath the right knee too. You can place your right hand underneath of the left ankle. If you notice that your foot is really turning up, so it's called sickling. So place it under to help keep it supported. And then inhale, breath. And exhale, breath. Close your eyes, draw your chin just a little ways down towards the chest, let your head hang. You can add a little bit of a forward fold too, if you like. Now here, it is the left side of our pelvis that we are stretching into. So notice how it feels. Use your breath, inhale breath to all those areas that are tight, and then exhale breath to help release. Just let yourself sink and let yourself go. Let go. You're halfway through our pose. Starting to feel that release, the letting go into the left side of your pelvis. Slowly coming out of square pose. So the left leg, off the right leg. And just move your palms to the side. Take your hands behind and take your legs in front. Take your feet wider than the hips. Windshield wiper, knees side to side. And our final pose is Shavasana. Turning your head towards the front of your mat. So this is my top of my mat, the front of my mat here. For Shavasana, you can do Shavasana in all different ways. You can do legs up the wall. So the pose that we started with, you can have your legs up the wall. You can lie on your back and have your knees bent. You can have your legs straight if you're lying on your back. You can make an incline for yourself. Always great to do. You can come into reclined butterfly. So an incline, you can do the reclined butterfly, support underneath the knees. So a few options for you. Finding whatever pose for Shavasana that you would like to do. And then letting yourself find stillness. If you find that you are getting cold, please have something to cover your body before you do find stillness. Have a blanket handy. We'll be in Shavasana for a few minutes. Your breath softens. The body softens. It feels light. The lips part. Feeling yourself drift. Not focusing on one thought. I will call you back when it is time. slowly coming back to me, wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers, noticing your breath. If you're lying on your back, you may roll over to your right side to fetal, bending the knees, taking your right arm above the head. And then everybody making your way up to a comfortable seated position. Taking your time. Coming back to our focus, stress management, thinking about what you would like to focus on, one part of stress management for yourself for this week. Could be the physical, social, intellectual, or spiritual. Thinking of having a good night's rest. You may read a little bit before you do go to bed, just like I'm going to do. A little bit of intellectual part though too, reading and then having that good night's sleep. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.